Hey guys, so I am Ellie Oakley-Mardle, and today I am bringing you a session that you can do for a bit of a sort of pre-ride warm-up really, so getting you prepared for going out on that bike, making sure that you're in the best sort of optimal position that you can be. Obviously we all know it's really important that we shouldn't go straight into any kind of sporting activity cold. You really need to make sure that you're getting your body prepared, giving your cardiovascular system a chance to sort of wake up, get that heart rate up, give those muscles a chance to get a little bit more sort of flexible and mobile, okay? Obviously main reasons for this is obviously primarily to prevent injury or to minimise the risk of injury, but also it does allow your body to be prepped and ready, sort of primed as it were, so that you're going to get the best you can out of that performance. You know, if you're going in cold, you potentially are blunting your ability to sort of perform well on that day. So what we're going to do today, a little bit of a sort of very gentle warm-up to start with, and then we're going to go through some sort of movements, trying to get you sort of mobile through more sort of dynamic movements. So it's not going to be sort of static stretching, it's going to be some dynamic, relevant movements to the activities that you're going to be doing. So with cycling, obviously, main muscle groups that you're tending to hit are obviously your quadriceps at the front of your thighs, your gluteal muscles in your bottom, obviously your hamstrings get a pretty good workout, obviously as you're coming on that sort of upstroke of the pedal, but particularly as you're standing up on the bike and working, and those calf muscles. Core's obviously working as well. Anytime your legs are working, your core muscles are working, and obviously those arms and shoulders, particularly if you're leaning forwards, obviously onto the bike, they're going to get a bit of a sort of a hammering as well. So to start with, in an ideal world, if you can, if you've got a static bike, then getting on a static bike, low resistance or pretty much no resistance at all really, just sort of 3 to 5 minutes of very gentle pedalling would be great, just to get that heart rate up and get that blood pumping around. Alternatively, you can go out for a gentle jog if that is an option. Again, similarly, just sort of 3 to 5 minutes, very low, steady pace. Failing that, you can just do some jogging on the spot, and that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to do, and if you're going to do jogging on the spot, obviously you're not going to spend 3 to 5 minutes jogging on the spot. It's pretty repetitive. We'll just do it for sort of about 1 minute to 90 seconds now. So it's just going to be just getting those legs moving, nothing aggressive, very sort of minimal kind of movement there. So really just starting, just getting those arms swinging and just doing a little bit of gentle jogging on the spot there. We're just going to do this for about sort of a minute and a half, just to get the blood pumping, get those muscles working up a little bit. So making sure you're getting that arm movement in there as well, getting those shoulders moving, getting that blood pumping around the whole body there. So obviously, ideally guys, find somewhere relatively level to do this if you can. My floor is creaking, it's not me by the way, so just getting that heart rate going, just getting those muscles working a little bit. Nothing aggressive in these movements, nothing fast and furious, just sort of working through there. Nice work guys. So we're going to go for another 30 seconds, doing this gentle jogging on the spot. Obviously, hopefully you should be beginning to feel that things are waking up a little bit there, getting a little bit more mobile. Heart rate should be going up a little bit, not spiking up through the ceiling. If it is, you've probably gone off a little bit heavy. Nice guys. Awesome work. So then we're going to rest it up there. So now we're going to go into some sort of stretches through movement really. So they're not going to be static stretches. You're not going to sit and hold them for a long time. We're going to spend about a minute on each stretch, okay? First one we need to get into is a lunge position to start with. So we're going to lunge forwards with our right foot, left leg behind you, making sure your knees are staying in line there. Torso nice and upright, okay? What you're doing from here, we're trying to push those hips forwards as far as we can. We're going to hold for a few seconds, and then from there we're going to come back onto this back leg, and we're going to just lean forwards, just stretching the hamstrings. When we're coming forwards here, pushing the hips, so you're getting a stretch down the hip flexor, and then coming back to get a stretch down your hamstring. Now some of you will be a lot more flexible than others. I'm not particularly mobile in my hamstrings, so I find this one a little bit difficult. So we're going to start this one in 3 seconds, and we're going to spend a minute guys doing it. So we're just going to go from now, we're going to come forwards, hold for a few seconds, and then coming back. So it's a relatively dynamic movement. We're not spending too long in each position, really just trying to move through that range, loosen up into those joints, into those muscles, giving those hip flexors a stretch, giving those hamstrings and those glutes a stretch as you're coming back through. So we're going to do a minute on this side, and then we're going to go to the other side guys. Really making sure you're pushing those hips through as you're coming forwards. All right, we're not just bending here, staying nice and tall, hips through, and then bend over as you come back. So we've got 15 more seconds on this side. So you should feel you can get a little bit further as you start working into it. Last 5 seconds. Great work, guys. So rest it up there. We're now going to change, do exactly the same movement, but on the other side. So lunging forward with your left leg to a comfortable position. Probably want a little bit of a gap between you, not sort of tightrope walking here. And we're going to go in 3 seconds, same thing for a minute. So we're going to come forward, starting now, guys, and then backwards. Now you'll find you've got one side which is a bit more mobile than the other. This is my more flexible side from my hamstring point of view, so I can bend a bit further over on this side than I can the other. Just work within your range. This is just a warm up. We're not looking to take it to extremes. It should be comfortable, a little bit of a stretch, but nothing horrendously painful there, okay? We're not looking for forcing really long and hard stretches here. So coming back into that forwards fold and then pushing those hips as you're coming forwards. So 20 more seconds on this one. So nice controlled movements. 10 more seconds. So this is opening up those hip joints a little bit as well as those muscles. So it's getting some movement actually in the joint. 2, 1, and rest it there, guys. So now we're going to go into a similar thing, a dynamic movement again. This time we're going to do what we call a good morning into a squat. So a good morning, if I stand sort of slightly sideways on, you're going to have a little bit of a soft bend in your knees. Torso is going to stay nice and straight, okay? Basically going to send our hips backwards, keeping our chest high, and you're going to come down until you feel tension around your hamstrings and your bottom. From there, you're going to keep that torso like this, and you're going to sit into a squat. From there, we're going to come back up into that good morning position, and then back up to the top again. So to go through that again, guys, I'll come this way on. So you're going to have a soft bend in your knees, send your hips back into that good morning wherever you feel the tension. From there, drop back into a squat, come back up to that good morning position, and then back to the top, okay? Key here, keep that core nice and tight, chest nice and high at all times, okay? Only go to where you feel the tension in your hamstrings when you're bending forwards, and when we're squatting, we're aiming to get our hips down below our knees, okay? So again, we're going to do this for a minute, and we're going to start in 2, 1, off we go. So just slow, controlled movements again, just working through those movements, steady, few seconds just in each position to hold. So here, hold for a few seconds, down to the squat, hold for a few seconds, back, hold for a few seconds, and up. And again, guys, just working through this for about a minute, just to get, again, those hip joints working, keep your quads and your glutes a bit of a workout, just get some stretching through your spine as well if you're a little bit stiff, okay? And gets that posterior chain, so that posterior chain being at the back of your body, down your hamstrings, down your back, your lower back, gets everything nicely mobile as well. So we've got another 15 seconds in this one. Awesome work, guys. Last 5 seconds. There we go. So that's mobility stretch number 2 for you. So we're going to do one more of these slightly sort of more kind of lower level stretches, as I would put them. So we're now going to go on to our hands and knees. This is going to look at sort of doing a little bit of mobility around your shoulder and your thoracic spine. So from here, we're going to come into all fours. You want your palms a little bit further forward than your shoulders, okay? And from here, what we're going to do, we're going to put our knees a little bit wider. We're going to sit back first, then we're going to come forwards, palm up, and we're going to post through one side, hold for a few seconds, and then we're going to go together, so palm up, and we're going to rotate through. From there, then we're going to sit back down again, hold for a few seconds, and repeat. So the movements are sit back, where you should feel a bit of a stretch come down through your lats predominantly, maybe around into your armpit, and then we're going to come forwards again, rotate through, aiming to get the shoulder as low to the ground as you can. So you should feel that stretch around the outside of your shoulder and into your sort of middle of your back, really. So again, we're going to do this for 1 minute, guys, okay? And we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. So sitting back for a few seconds, up, rotate through, and rotate through. And just repeat that movement, guys. So slow, controlled movements. Again, it's just looking at getting some mobility through those joints, getting those muscles woken up a little bit. So just a few seconds in each one, not long holds. This is more about a dynamic warm-up. So we're going for another 25 seconds. And obviously as you work through this, you may find you can start to go a little bit lower as you're rotating, as that range of movement gets a little bit better. Last 10 seconds. Awesome work, guys. And rest it there. So from there, we're now going to go into some exercises in standing, looking at getting a little bit more, again, dynamic movement and loosening those hip joints and your calf muscles up. Ideally, if you can, you want to do these moving forwards. So ideally, if you can walk forwards doing them, that's great. If not, you can do it on the spot if space is limited, okay? I haven't got a huge amount of space here to, well, I have, but I'll be out the camera shot. So I'll do them more statically. I might move a couple of steps. So we're going to start with imagining you're stepping over a hurdle, basically. Just looking to get some rotation in those hips. So I'm going to imagine I've got a hurdle in front of me. From here, I'm going to bring my leg up and around. Okay, same on the other side, up and around. So imagining I'm stepping over hurdles. Trying to keep my torso as straight forward as I can, but looking to rotate in and around with my hips. Obviously with these you go as high as is comfortable for you. Some of you may have a bit more restriction in your hip movement, so go as is comfortable. But this is aimed now at trying to go a little bit deeper into those movements, trying to get a bit more range of movement. So we're going to go for a minute on this one again, guys. So we are going to go in 3 seconds. Off we go. So it's just up and around. As I say, moving forwards if you can. If not, then just staying on the spot. Obviously, if you're moving forwards and you run out of space, then just take yourself back to your start position. So we're going for that minute, trying to keep that torso forward. Try not to rotate from your body as you're doing it, if you can. It's quite tricky. Tendency is to want to rotate with it. Okay, so up and around, really get those hips nice and mobile. Awesome work, guys. Another 20 seconds of this one. Again, you may find one side is more mobile than the other, so just work within your limitations, everything within what you can do. Final 5 seconds, and rest it there, guys. Awesome work. So, next one is going into more of a walking lunge. With this though, we're going to add a little bit of additional stretch, trying to get a bit more of a stretch around the hip flexor and the deep hip flexor muscles underneath your abdominals. Palms together for this one, so kind of clasp your hands together. What we're going to do, as you lunge forward, you're going to bring your hands up, okay? Lunge forward, bring your hands up. Same as we did with the lunge earlier, trying to push those hips forwards, trying to really feel a stretch in the front of your hip joint there. So again, obviously, ideally, it's nice to be able to move forwards doing this one. If you have to be static on the spot, that is fine. Just make sure you're getting that nice upwards movement each time. So we're going to do this again for a minute. In 3, 2, 1, off we go. So lunging forwards and back. Making sure, of course, that you're controlling that back knee to the floor, not smashing it down. And obviously, as you feel more comfortable, you can potentially up the pace a little bit if you want, just to get that heart rate going a little bit faster. So as I say, a minute on this one, nice and controlled. Those hips should be getting to feel a little bit more mobile now. Your quadriceps muscles on the front here should feel like they're waking up. Last 15 seconds. Ten seconds. And rest it there, guys. Okay, final one of these sort of standing exercises. Then we're going to go into a little bit more dynamic again. We're going to go into some calf raises. So obviously, as we said, working your calf muscles when you're on that bike, when you're pedaling hard, particularly going up gradients. So feet sort of hip width apart, from here, all we're going to do is just up onto those toes. So nice and simple movement. Core nice and engaged. Squeeze your bum muscles when you're doing this as well, okay? Keeping yourself nice and straight for 1 minute, okay? So we are going to go in 3, 2, 1, off we go. So again, we have a minute of this. Try to avoid the option with the temptation to roll up across and out, nice and straight up in front, okay? Really pushing up onto that big toe. You should feel this in your calf muscles, potentially up towards the back of your knees. And it's just getting those big calf muscles at the back there that are really important for cycling, nice and warm, okay? So going through that range of movement there. They've already worked a little bit with the lunging exercises and with some of the mobility stretches. This obviously is giving it a bit more of a dynamic movement for them now. 20 seconds. And then we're going to up the ante a little bit more now after this one and go a little bit more dynamic again, a bit more explosive. So last 10 seconds. Good work, guys. 3, 2, 1, and rest it there. So last 3 movements we're going to go into now are looking at being a little bit more explosive in the movement, so making it a bit more relevant to when you're doing sort of faster or harder effort work, okay? First one we're going to do is some mountain climbers, okay? So for these, what you do is get yourself on your hands at the top of the plank position, and from here we're basically going to bring one leg up and then the other leg up, but you're going to do it relatively quickly, okay? So alternating movements. All right, up to you whether you put that front foot to the floor when you bring it down or whether you keep it in the air. I don't mind. If you want to make contact with both, you can. It's entirely up to you. Again, this is going to work obviously those muscles in that posterior chain, work your hip flexors, work your calves quite well. So we're going to do this for 30 seconds, guys. So 30 seconds of those mountain climbers, and then we're going to go into 2 other movements. So get yourself onto that mat, hands at the top, and we are going to go in 3, 2, 1. Off we go. So really trying to drive those legs up. Get that dynamic movement, get those hips pumping, get those calf muscles working a little bit. 15 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest up there, guys. So that's probably got your heart rate up a little bit. It's certainly got mine up a bit. So have a little breather from there. So next one we're going to do is some high knees. So this is a running on the spot, bringing those knees up in front of you. Again, working those hip flexors, working your gluteal muscles, working your calf muscles. Do this at a pace that you can maintain. It's not about going absolutely eyeballs out, but getting those knees nice and high. So again, we're going to go for 30 seconds in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So nice high knees, pumping those arms, getting that heart rate up again, getting those muscles working. Should be feeling like you're getting pretty warm now. That's halfway. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest up there, guys. Okay, so next movement we're going to go into are some heel flicks. So these are working the muscles in the back of your hamstrings or back of your legs, so your hamstring muscles. Just kicking those heels up towards your bottom. So it's going to look like that, alternating, picking up. Again, we're going to do it for 30 seconds, okay? Pick a pace that's comfortable for you. I'll give you a little bit of a breather, just get your heart rate back down. We'll go in 10 seconds. So really working on nice explosive movement with these guys. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So flicking those heels up, making contact with your bottom. Again, getting those arms pumping as well. Get those shoulders nice and warm. It's great work, guys. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm rested up there, guys. Now, I'm not going to bore you by making you go through it again with me at the time, but I would suggest that you do that at least twice through, possibly 3 times through those last few movements, just to get really nice and mobile, get that dynamic movement, get that blood pumping around there. So that's my little pre-ride warm-up for you. Have a little go at that one. Hopefully you should see it feel nice and prepared to get out on that bike. Take care, guys. Have fun.